Hello everyone, I'm Brian and today I'm going to be reacting to Is Hindu Religion in Danger? Sadhguru at JNU. Alright, so this was actually someone that suggested. I do take suggestions. If you got a suggestion, please leave it in the comments below. Please leave a link to the video as well. So I have not watched it yet, although it played like 1 second in, but it was just asking for the dude's name. So in danger, what does that mean to me? So before I even watch it, I'm going to make an assumption here. I believe it's probably talking about how maybe a lot of people are not following the Hindu religion. And if that's the case, my experience over here in the US, I think Christianity and Catholicism and religion in general is maybe dying down as well. Um, but other than that, I don't know what else this is a video about, so let's go ahead and give it a shot.
Guru, first of all, namaskaram. I'm a Hindu by birth, not by choice. So basically, I'm an agnostic kind of person. So my question is, like, we all have been encountering a statement everywhere, like on social media and in our day-to-day life, that I
It's weird he said not by choice, by birth. Let me go back again.
Hindu by birth, not by choice.
I'm Hindu by birth, but not by choice. That's weird. That is very weird to say, I will say. Um, you, in my belief, that you cannot be born into a religion. You do it by choice. Maybe you have grown up with it and your parents kind of enforced that or instilled that on you, and maybe unwillingly, but you still always have a choice, though. That's my belief in that.
So
That's
basically,
why I
I'm
thought it was
an
kind of weird.
agnostic kind of person. So my question is, like, we all have been encountering a statement everywhere, like on social media and in our day-to-day life, that our religion is in danger. First of all, this question comes in my mind since my childhood: what is religion? And the other thing, how is it in danger? And is it necessary to have a religion at all?
Hmm. What is religion? Let me try asking. Let me try answering this question. See if I come close. Which comes since my childhood.
And the
What
other
is
thing,
religion? So, at least from my understanding in Western culture, in my definition of religion is basically faith-based beliefs. Um, and of course, religion always will have this way of life as well. So a religion has to have a way of life, but a way of life doesn't have to have a religion. How do I explain that? Because religion is something that is faith-based belief. So basically, it's something that cannot be proven. You just have to believe in it.
how is it in danger?
How is it in danger? As we understand I guess it's is it the, what did he call it? Moving the goalpost, I believe. So basically, and again, I have to relate to Western religion is because that's what I'm much more familiar with, and I'm assuming it will still translate to maybe the issues with Hindu as well. Um, so the moving the goalpost, basically, as we become more knowledgeable of how the world works, the idea of this god is disappearing. It's moving. It's like because back in the day, lightning strikes. Like, oh, that's Zeus. He's mad and angry. Then we find out what lightning is, and it's like, oh no, no, that was never Zeus. That was no, that's science, obviously. And then Zeus lived in the clouds or the mountains, or God lives in the clouds and mountains. And we are able to fly and see that there's no one living up. It's like, oh no, 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 it's actually a different plane of existence, or he's out there in space. It's just every time there's a post that's like, oh, this is the limit, then we find out what that limit is. Like, oh no, 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 it's actually this way and this way, and it keeps going further and further until the point where it's like, well, no, he is spiritual. Gives off energy, but we can't measure the energy. It's that kind of thing. So as we become more knowledgeable in science, a lot of things that we used to believe to be supernatural, uh, or gods that are doing it, or God or gods are doing it, it becomes less and less.
And is it necessary to have a religion at all?
Um, is it necessary to have religion? I'd say no. Um, But I don't, if a person chooses to believe in a religion, so long as he's not forcing that on anyone, and he uses that to better his life and to better his environment and to help people, or at the very least be a good person, and that's it, good on you. I accept that. But if you're using that to control people, to hate on people, to put down people, I'm sorry.
See, take a few minutes. He's asked a
Sure,
question.
sure, sure.
That's a loaded
See, I
question.
want you to look back on this nation and see what is the context of this nation. If you look back on the history of this country, there was a time when there were over 200 political entities, kings, I mean, many small kingdoms, big empires. Sometimes certain kings came and conquered and made it into larger empire, sometimes it broke into small. Largely it was been somewhere between 100 to 250 nations within one geography of what we call as Indian subcontinent today. But though there were so many political nations, people from outside always called this land as Hindustan. Yes? Even now, if you go to Arabia, let's say Lebanon and Jordan and these kind of places, you will find thousands of women in Lebanon are still taking the name Hind. It's their name, because in their language, Hind means India. I asked them first time, I was surprised, why are you taking name India? I mean, in Lebanon, why are you Indian? They say, no, this is our culture, we always connected with India. Probably these people are somebody who went long time ago. They become part of that culture and they look like that, everything is like that. Must have been thousands of years ago, they must have been homesick. When you're homesick, you call your daughter India. So at least I can call India, India every day because I'm missing my country. So that tradition is still there. But even then they called Hind or Hindustan, though we were many nations within this subcontinent. Oh, okay. So why did they call this nation Hindustan is, one thing is it's a geographical identity. The land that lies between Himalayas and the Indus-Sagara, which is today called as Indian Ocean, they call this Hindustan. Himalaya and Indus-Sagara, between that is Hindustan. So geographical identity was given, but not political identity, not language identity, not religious identity. This is very significant because they could not figure out who the hell we were even then. As even today, you can't figure out who the hell you are, that's why you're asking this question.
Well, I mean, it is one part of your identity. It's not the only identity. Is it the identity that matters the most? I mean, I guess that's per individual person. That's why, I mean, I may be an American citizen, but it's not the defining factor of who I am as a person. It is one of many, but of many, not the only one.
Even then, the same question as your Vice Chancellor asked, Sadhguru, would you answer the question, who am I? So we still can't figure out who the hell we are because
Who am I? Okay.
this has been a land of seeking, never a land of belief. If you want a religion, essentially, when somebody
me.
says, I'm religious, they always say, I'm a believer, isn't it? Let's explore this word belief. How many of you believe you have two hands?
I don't believe I have two hands. I know I have two hands.
All of such people just at least raise one hand, please.
What if you have no hands?
Do you believe you have two hands or do you know you have two hands?
Oh, I know I have two hands.
You
Okay.
know. If somebody starts an argument with you and tries to prove to you you have no two hands, if their argument becomes too overwhelming, one slap in the face.
Two, you have to prove you have both hands now. So one on the left and one on the right.
He knows you got hands, isn't it?
Well, if you slap him once, he knows you have one hand.
But there are so many things you believe. You believe in heaven, you believe in God, you believe in many, many things. Why do you believe? Simply because you have not become straight enough in your life even to admit what I do not know as I do not know. This is a serious problem.
Hmm. I do admit to that. I don't know what I don't know. The weird thing is there are some people that makes a statement that there are things that you know, there are things that you don't know, and there are things that you know. I forgot how it goes. That there are things that you know. There are things that you know that you don't know. There are things that you don't know that you don't know. I think it goes something like that, which is kind of it made sense, but I can't remember how it made sense now.
Whatever you do not know, you say, I believe. It
Not me. No. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know.
is so human of you, so wonderful of you, to see what you do not know as I do not know, isn't it?
Hmm?
I do not know is a tremendous possibility. When you say, I do not know, genuinely within you, the longing to know, the seeking to know, and the possibility of knowing becomes a living reality in your life.
It is something I do believe most people seek. Because once you know everything, life becomes boring, I hear.
Otherwise, everything that you do not know, you believe. When you believe, it gives you instant confidence.
Let me repeat that.
Everything that you do not know, you believe. When you believe,
Everything that you do not know you believe. No, not me.
it gives you instant confidence.
When you believe it, it gives you instant. So, if you're trying to prove something that you don't know, like a theory, or you're trying to make an assumption on something, you can believe in it, sure, absolutely. And you get confidence until you prove it to be right. Sure, absolutely, on that part.
Confidence without clarity is the most disastrous thing that has happened to humanity.
Confidence without clarity. I don't know how it's the most disastrous thing to happen to humanity, but it can be bad, absolutely.
Confidence. All kinds of idiots have confidence. When you don't know,
Yes,
at least
that
you must have
100%.
hesitation, isn't it? Huh? When you can't see clearly, you must have hesitation.
Uh-huh.
When you can't see clearly, if you're confident, are you not a disaster?
When you can't see clearly, if you're confident, are you not a disaster? Not necessarily, I don't think.
You are either a disaster for yourself or for everybody around.
Because you can be confident, but you don't have to be arrogant, I guess. Confidence doesn't necessarily mean that you're going for something, but you can. I guess the way how I interpret this is the fact that, say I 1 plus 1. I guess this is an oversimplified version. I don't even know if it's a good example. Again, I'm just thinking this off the top of my head. In my mind, let's just say this. I say 1 plus 1 equals 11. I can be confident in that. But so long as I'm not going out there saying this is fact, and I'm going to try to find a way to prove a theory confidently, then it's not necessarily a disaster. It's a disaster when you confidently say 1 plus 1 equals 11 and you start telling people that is true confidently. That is a disaster.
So, this land was never ever identified with belief systems. This has always been a land of seekers. Seekers of what? Seekers of truth and liberation. Just now, yesterday I was at, the BHU in Kashi. You just see there, people are coming from all over the country and now all over the world. In search of what? Mukti.
What's about the
Freedom is the
knowledge?
highest value. God has never been the highest value in this culture. All the people whom you worship are people who walked this land at some time, isn't it? And they were not superheroes. They did not drop from the sky or fly in the air or walk upon the water, nothing. Just same grind as you are going through, much more grind than you are going through. If you want to take the example of anybody, either Shiva, Rama, Krishna, whatever the main deities in the country, let's take Rama because he's always in political dispute. He's still in a real estate problem.
I don't know what the joke is with him being in a real estate problem, but it's kind of funny that he's related to the real estate problem.
At the age of 17 or 18, he's been coronated as a king, rightfully, because whatever, those days his father and son. He marries a young princess. In a short while, some political situation, something goes wrong, and they're banished to a forest. Well, in your television, whatever you saw, or in some movie you saw Rama Sita doing honeymoon in the forest. No, it was an exile. Going to the jungle is not a picnic. Most of you may not know, I've lived in jungles by myself alone without any outside support. After 3 weeks, when I came back home, my mother would look at me, she couldn't recognize me because from head to toe, insect bites, this, that, you cannot be recognized. Especially if you take girls. When they come out after 2, 3 weeks, you cannot recognize them because everything will be swollen, all kinds of things will happen to you if you live in the jungle. So taking a young wife and going… she's not a tribal woman, she's a princess, going to the forest was not picnic or honeymoon, it was an exile. As if that was not bad enough, the Sri Lankan people came and kidnapped the wife. Yes, happened, right? Now, he's a king after all. If one wife goes, he could have found a local solution.
Local
A king
solution.
is entitled to have many wives, but one is gone, he could have found somebody next to him. But the man loves the woman so much. In those days, no GPS, you don't know…
No cheap.
you don't know where exactly Sri Lanka is located. Just him and his brother walk… I want you to imagine the walk from Ayodhya to southern India. Not a simple search. How many people will search for a lost wife 6,000–7,000 years ago, walking 2,000 plus kilometers? How many men would have done that?
Probably not.
So,
Probably not
he
too many.
walked and formed a Tamil army, then went to Sri Lanka, burned down a beautiful city, fought a war, killed hundreds of people, got back his wife. If a man has to do this, that woman should mean so much to him to do such an act, isn't it? Then he brought her back. Again he became a king, again something goes wrong, by then she's pregnant. See, a king's wife or a queen being pregnant means it's not just a pregnancy, it's the future of the nation. It is a big thing, it's not a small thing. And he's a big emperor by then. But something goes wrong and he sends his wife to the jungle again. No sonogram, so doesn't know whether it's a boy or girl, boys or girls or what. It's not a small thing for a king. If it's going to be a son, it's important for the future of his everything. But he doesn't know, sends his wife away to the jungle.
Well, he pointed out the fact that it's going to be a son, it's going to be important to the king, but he didn't say anything about what if it's a daughter. Maybe he'll say it in this next part.
Then she delivers 2 boys. He doesn't know. If something really, really horrible has to happen in anybody's life, knowingly or unknowingly you kill your own children, this is the worst thing that can happen to you, isn't it? He almost killed his own children. He fought a battle with them, nearly killed. He had intent to kill, not knowing they're his children.
It's kind of weird. That means she's been banished for a long time, like enough, say, at least 16 to 18 years, considering that I think… well, I don't know how long ago this was. I think he stated it, but I know boys or men or teenagers nowadays would be considered bad already at the age of about maybe 16.
Fortunately, it did not happen. But anyway, he never again saw his wife, she died in the jungle. You don't call this a success story, isn't it? Hello? You don't call this a success story. Then why are we worshipping this man? Why is this man celebrated as a great whatever? Simply because no matter what life threw at him, most people would break if one of those situations happened in their life. He is a serial disaster. But in spite of all this, he did not become angry, he did not become resentful, hateful, he managed his balance all the time, did not withdraw, active, doing the best he can, and that's about it.
Wow, that story sounds very similar to Abraham Lincoln.
And after he came back from Sri Lanka, he did something fantastic. After having killed Ravana, he wanted to take a year of penance in the Himalayas.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna pause it again. So I kind of actually want to watch it. I just want to see how similar it is, because Abraham, I watch… again, I like watching historical stuff as well. Just especially with history teachers doing reacts to, like, was it simple history or something like that? Because they end up inputting a little bit more knowledge into what's already there. And Abraham Lincoln had a serial disaster life as he's explaining it.
Lakshmana, his brother said, "Are you crazy? You killed the man and we had to kill him, he took his wife, your wife. So why do you have to do penance for that man?" He said, "See, he had 10 qualities. The 9 qualities I killed, I have no regret. But he was also a great devotee and I killed that also along with everything else. For that I have to do penance. Because the man is free from whatever is happening around him, you throw the most horrible things at him, he is just who he is. This freedom is called Jivan Mukti. It is for that freedom that we bow down to him, not because he's a great hero, not because he's a great success."
Oh. Okay.
So, in this culture, the only valuable thing is that you attain to freedom from the process of life. What life throws at you is never your choice. It will throw all kinds of things at you.
I don't necessarily believe that what life throws at you is not your choice. You make choices in your life, and you generally get results based on your choice. Now, of course, there's going to be bad people out there that will try to throw things into your life for sure. That I do believe that you can't necessarily control. But still, you ultimately make choices in your life that swings. You ultimately have control of your life. Not every single aspect of it. You can't control other people. You can control who's in your life, who you make friends with your life, who you date in life, who you what houses and everything. Um, but yeah, ultimately, I believe that you have a good portion of your life is ultimately your choice.
What will you make out of it? This is your choice, isn't it? So we always told you in this culture, never in this… Now people are beginning to say this Uparwala business. Otherwise, in this culture, we always told you, your life is your karma. Yes or no? What does it mean to you? It simply means your life is your making.
Oh, well,
Nobody
there
up there
goes.
sitting and managing your life.
Yeah. There you go. Absolutely.
Well, you're on a round planet and the damn thing is spinning, you don't even know which side is up. Hello? Do you know which side is up in this cosmos?
Why does he say hello? That's the second time that at least I've noticed that he said hello. I guess it's kind of like I guess the hello portion is to, did you get it? Did you understand it? Am I understanding that hello right? It's kind of weird. At certain those two moments that I notice, it's like that's very out of the blue, came from left field, as they say.
I'm asking you. Is it marked somewhere, this side up? So you do not even know which side is up, but you know who is up. This is a serious problem. No, it's not a laughing matter because it's taking lives. It's not taking… it's taking lives does not mean people are being killed, that's also is happening, that's a different matter. But it's taking lives because instead of creating your life, you're looking up and walking. When forever we told you, your life is your karma, what you make out of it is all there is. What is thrown at you is not in your hands. What you make out of it is 100% yours.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, there are things that you can't control in life, but you have absolute control of what you do with it. Yes, absolutely.
So the idea is just this, the fundamental ethos of this culture is not religion. This is a godless country, I want you to know this.
Whoa, okay. But the thing is, though, then why does all these gods exist? Shiva and all of that. Why were they in, at least from what I understand, in the religion? Again, I'm thankful for everyone who made a comment to help me better understand. So there's many different how do you say, Hindu schools, and some schools believe in only certain gods, some schools believe in all gods, some schools only believe in no gods, which is very odd, I guess, because again, this is something new to me. In the Western world, religion is typically belief in a god. But to say one religion has, or again, he's saying it's not a religion, I do believe. So it's just very odd. Something new I've not learned yet. I'm trying to understand it.
There never been the god up there. We worship a few people. It's very appropriate, today people are saying Tendulkar is cricketing god. Whoever
Cricketing?
excelled in any aspect of life beyond a certain point, which we considered is normal human being, if somebody excelled, then we say, oh, he's godlike, he's a deva. This word God as a supreme entity never has been here. Here we are always talking about those
People?
who have excelled beyond what we normally consider as human, as devas. That's why we have 36 million gods and goddesses. You must create more, there's no problem. Because after all, this is the only and only culture on the planet which understands God is our making.
That wow, okay, I really do like that actually.
Everybody thinks they are God.
That we are gods of, well, basically we are gods of our lives. I mean, although we don't have absolute control of whatever is thrown at us, we have absolute control of whatever we do with whatever's thrown at us and whatever we want to do. Just because you can't obtain it, just because you can't get what you want, doesn't mean that you don't have control over it. That's hard to explain. I mean, that's hard to say because, just because I want to be the CEO of, I don't know, Tesla, just for example, it's like, well, I don't have that power. It's like, yeah, but you can make changes to your life. You have to be realistic with your goals.
making. Right now, Vinayak Chaturthi celebrations are going on around the country. See, this is a classic example where we create the god, we will put him there. Next 10 days or 1 month, whatever, our entire life is around him, full emotion, bhajan, dance, music, whole thing. But when the time comes, we go and dissolve him in water. We made the god, we worshipped him, we enjoyed it, we enthused ourselves in a big way using him. When we are done, we dissolved him. This clearly shows you we have an innate understanding God is our making, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, I get that. The dissolving in water, that's kind of weird. So basically, they created a god. Basically, this god is something that they do already. They worship it by trying to achieve it, and then once they achieve that godhood, they dissolve it because they've already achieved it, I think? I don't think that's right. I don't think I understood that right, but I understand what he says, but trying to explain it just, I don't think I'm doing it right. Saying it right.
So, here we only had a spiritual process, variety of spiritual processes, but never religion. We became religious in competition. When outside forces came and too much competition, we are also trying to organize, but you can never organize this culture because if there are 3 people, there are 5 opinions. Within the same house, there are 10 gods. How do you make a religion out of that? No, this is just a process. You use everything for your emancipation, for your liberation. If you listen to the conversations of your mothers or maybe your young people, your grandmothers, not some spiritual conversation, daily conversation if you listen to it, without uttering the words karma, prarabdha, mukti, moksha, there's no conversation in this country. Constant reminder, no matter what you're doing, your education, your family, your business, your spirituality, everything is only towards your liberation, always. Freedom is the highest goal, not heaven, not God.
I don't think he answered the questions, though. Let me go back. That's kind of weird, though, he says.
And the other thing, how is it a statement everywhere, like on social media and in our day-to-day life, that our religion is in danger?
Yeah, I don't believe he answered that question.
First of all, this question comes in my mind since my childhood, what is religion?
Well, okay. He did answer that one.
And the other thing, how is it in danger?
I mean, he kind of answered it about the external forces, external religions coming into India or into Hindu areas.
And is it necessary to have a religion at all?
That one, I think, I guess he did kind of touch up on all 3. That one, I believe that, I guess he's saying that it's not necessarily necessary. It's not necessarily needed because everyone has different beliefs. So I guess a strict religion is not necessary because everyone has different beliefs. I think that's how he answered that one. Dude, I really like this dude. I need to watch more of his videos. So far, I'm glad I am thinking along the same lines as him. The way I see this for myself is how I look at this as wisdom, and how much wisdom I've attained when I live my life. And the more I get right, the happier I am, obviously. And the more I get in anything that I get wrong, I'm glad as well because I'm learning. And it's never, again, this is the stance I always take. I never ever take one source as the absolute because there's not just one human being that there's not one type of human being that everyone is. Everyone's different. So there's a general truth, there's a general path, there's a general goodness that we all try to obtain. It's going to vary a little bit different between human beings, but there's a general idea of what is generally good. That is so much general words I just said, but I hope you understand it. Because I maybe don't, but no. But it's just that there are certain things in life that life is very difficult to define, and I think the reason why Hinduism is not really exactly set is because there's like he was saying in the previous video. There's just people are so different, and everyone has their way of life. But it's generally you want to make sure you're a good human being, basically. All right, that I actually really I really like this. I really, really do enjoy this, and now this is piquing my interest as well a bit more. Because again, I say this in my other videos with the Hindu in there, with my Hindu reaction is the fact that I see Buddhism as something interesting because it is not about believing in God, but believing in a certain aspects that's a reality in life. And in Hindu, at least the way he's explaining it, there's not a god or a deity. It's the fact that we create our gods, which I absolutely believe. Mind you, I have not thought of it that way in a long while. So he just reinforced my belief in that. That um, there are people out there who believes they are gods. That's not what he means. He means that we obtain perfection by not being arrogant, and people who believe that they are gods can get a notion of arrogance. I think that's my interpretation of what he says and my belief as well. So yeah, I believe I'm a god in, just say, cooking. But I'm not going out there saying I'm the best cook. No, I've obtained a good enough knowledge of cooking, I believe. I don't know. I think that's about right. Anyways, let me know, if what I've said is about correct based on your opinion and based on what you understand from him. I am genuinely curious of what you think about what he said and whether what I said matches with him or am I misinterpreting it or what. Let me know in the comments below. Alright, anyways, that's my reaction to this. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.